So hello guys, welcome to the second part of the functional area of international business. So we will talk about marketing, communication and strategy on standardization and adaptation, media choice and communication, creative communication, distribution and strategy and its types, global e-market strategy, financial management in IB, offshore financial center, investment decision, tax practice and its types, tax haven, currency risk management, types of currency exposure risk, Lazard Lorange model, international HR management, staffing policy, diversity management, labor relation, preparing employee for repatriation. So coming first towards marketing, communication and strategy, it is also known as marketing promotion. Company use the marketing communication to provide information and communicate with potential and existing customer with the aim of creating the demand. It concentrates on advertising the strategy. International promotion and advertisement strategy relates the firm's attempt on communicating with the target customer in foreign market. Communicating with customer in foreign market is important due to geographical and psychological distance. International communication strategy focuses more particularly on advertisement, as personal selling is not possible. There can be direct marketing and sales promotion. Strategy on industrial standardization and adaptation. Standardization is the process of globalizing companies' promotional policies and strategies so that promotional message is uniform in all the target market. Adaptation means act of changing companies' promotional mix to each country and market, creating local campaign. Strategy on media choice and communication or advertisement method. So first there is print media, newspaper, magazine, journal, catalogs, audiovisual, TV, films, slides, and internet and mobile, web page, email, SMS, mural or display means wall painting, hoarding, neon lights. So strategy on creative communication, language factor, it must be short, avoid the slang and idioms, and visual ads are the best. Legal factors, must not be used if the foreign country does not permit. Nepal government avoids tobacco ads. Socio-cultural factor, so must consider the cultural diversity and local managers share the important information and input. Production or the cost factor, highly artful advertisement is the symbol of creativity and cost to produce. Distribution and strategy, it links manufacturer and final international consumer. It vary from one region to another region, one market to another market. The consumer product channel distribution tend to be longer than the industrial product channel. There are types of distribution channel or intermediaries. There are two alternatives: using the established channel, already existing channel is used, and building the company's own channel, that is creating the new distribution channel. So manager should have understanding on what type of channel can be operated in international distribution system. So first is home country channel, where export management companies like researching, representing, screening, shipping, trading companies provide service, minimum risk, financial assistance. Home country brokers or agent, they are the middlemen to bring the international buyer and seller together. Foreign sales corporation, FSC, it allows exemption in the home country income tax. Next is export merchant, where export jobbers is to carry the goods. Next we have foreign country channel, where merchant middleman, where they import the jobbers to purchase the goods. Agent and brokers, alternative distribution structure, where the networking market approach is to sell at the same time using the network through the distribution structure. So international distribution strategy is means for delivering product to the target market. The way product is delivered to the consumer is determined by the firm's entry strategy. Now major factors affecting the consideration for developing the international distribution strategy. First, there is a retail concentration. In the concentration system, few retailers supply the most of the market. In fragmented system, there are many retailer, none of them has major share in the market. The strategy is used that when the buyer are concentrated, direct distribution is practical, that is sales through manufacturer, sales depot or sales branches is feasible. Direct sales is impractical due to high travel cost and excessive use of intermediaries. There is the line of demarcation where it is drawn between the developed and developing country in extent of retail concentration. In developed country there is tendency for greater retail concentration while fragmented in developing countries. Next we have channel length. So channel is a long when manufacturer required to move its product through different several middlemen like import agent, wholesaler, retailer. The channel is short when the product has to channel hands once or twice. Channel is direct when manufacturer sells the product directly to the final consumer. Channel is long in the fragmented retail system. Now channel exclusivity. So exclusive distribution channel is one using the specific channel exclusively for a certain product. It is difficult for the outsider to access. For example, in a star hotel, new farmers or their groups have difficult access for supplying the vegetables. Next we have other market concentration, where there is consumer and market concentration, where the type of consumer is in organization. Wholesaler play important role, retailer in the consumer market. Channel coverage at a small consumer, manufacturer use direct sales to the user. Order size, big order, manufacturer use the direct sales to the consumer. Next we have company concentration. So desire for control, manufacturing are willing to distribute the product using the direct channel without any middleman. So managerial ability and experience, manufacturer lacking the managerial ability use the middleman. Financial resources, good financial company use less middlemen. Service required, manufacturer may have after sales service or before sales technical service. Now product consideration, nature of product, perishable goods use direct channel. Unit of value, high unit value requires short or direct channel. Technical product, distributed directly to the industrial user, require trained salesman for post sale service. Competitive environment, where next we have competitive environment where homogeneous product use the direct channel. Next is cost, where including the channel cost, commission, discount and incentives. It also includes the physical cost as transportation, storage and inventory. Next we have intermediary consideration, where service provided by intermediaries, where the manufacturer can't provide the marketing service to ultimate user. Next we have availability of desired intermediaries, where producer do not want to add middleman as an extra line. And sales volume possibility, if middleman increases sales volume, middleman is hired. And middleman's attitude. Now issues in international distribution. So international physical distribution management, IPDM, and containerization and material and document handling during the customers in the foreign countries. So global e-market strategy, marketing that uses electronic means or method to conduct the marketing activities such as buying and selling and distribution of goods and services in the global market. It transforms marketing process from physical marketplace to virtual marketing space. It has given rise to the reverse marketing, where the marketing activity is initiated by the customer rather than the marketing firm. Strategies. So there are different strategies used for the e-marketing. So B2B, where business of one country conduct the marketing with the business firm of another country. There is reduced cost of processing transaction, enhance efficiency, improve marketing linkage. Next is B2C. It is the earliest route found in the online retailing or retailing system. It involves business transactions with the customer by gathering the information and purchasing goods and services. Next is C2B. It allows individual, professional, lawyers, accountant, engineers to offer their service to the business. That allows individual to offer their service to the business. Next is C2C. It is the horizon interaction between the consumer who share their product related services via chat room, social media like Facebook and Twitter. Next is G2G, government to government, where if a business takes initiative to the market product to the government of another country, it is B2C. If the government takes marketing initiative, it will be G2G. Now alternative e-business strategy, there is brick and mortar, where the website is used only as a firm's brochure so that it can market its business online. Use brick and mortar to provide the information to the customer. It generates the strategy through marketing effort. Pure click, the firm carries out the entire marketing activities online, only very little physical presence of the marketing action. It includes search engines, commercial website, ISP and content site, etc. Next we have brick and click, where the strategy is to conduct the marketing activity both online and offline. They try to reduce the channel and conflict between the online marketing and the sales by the traditional marketing channel. Now we have strategy in e-documentation of the trade, where the strategy is to benefit the efficient documentation in the international trade through the online facility. The manual documentation and the process both are costly and inefficient, so electronic data interchange EDI has been introduced, where the firm can achieve the efficiency with the time and cost saving in the global marketing effort, like order placement and order processing and distribution. So financial management in IB. So operating globally needs focus themselves towards receivable, cash management and inventory management. So every single aspect of the finance leads to effectiveness in the business operating house. So financial management has two major functions: acquisition of finance and allocation of finance. So key functions of financial system: deciding the capital structure. It involves determining the proper mix of the debt and equity in the organization. Capital structure is a mix of long-term financing, which is equity, and debt financing that supports the international activities. Next we have raising the funds for the international operation, where they raise money in the global capital market. Equity financing is obtained throughout the world, where investor and the firm meet to buy and sell share the stocks. So debt financing is where firm borrow the euro currency market, which uses currency banked outside its origin. Now we have management of working capital and cash flow, where the management of the company's currency assets and liabilities, where the cash account, receivable and inventory are included. The firm would pull the fund into its centralized depository firm from firm network of subsidiaries and affiliates to distribute to units that firm funds. Various methods of transferring the funds within the MNC include the dividend pay, royalty payment, transfer pricing and loan. Also there is capital budgeting for international operation. It relates to analyzing the investment opportunity so that capital expenditure realize better return. So management undertakes to evaluate the viability of the proposed international project. The management calculates the net present value NPV of the proposed project to decide whether it should be implemented or not. Management of the currency risk. So IB involves in multiple currency and currency risk due to the forex fluctuations and other factors. Next we have management of international accounting and tax practices, where diversity of accounting standard and tax practices in different countries which should be properly managed in international business. Now sources of fund in international operations, we have global equity financing, where equity financing is selling shares to the investors, which provides them percentage of the ownership in the firm as well as pay dividend. Firms would retain earning that firm can reinvest in the profit rather than paying out it as an dividend to the investor. So firm obtain the capital without the debt. Now international financial centers. So it is also one of the source of the financing in multinational company, where global capital market is concentrated in the major financial centers like New York, London, Tokyo. The firm accesses the major suppliers of the capital through the banks, stocks exchange, venture capitalist. Europe has the largest share of over-the-counter OTC. It refers to the process of how securities are traded for the company that are not listed on a formal exchange as in the New York Stock Exchange NYSE. So securities that are traded over the counter are traded via broker dealer network as opposed on a centralized exchange. Next we have debt financing. So it is borrowing of money from the bank or the financial intermediaries, or sale of corporate bonds to the individual or the institution to raise the capital. There are two sources: loan from the bank, financial intermediaries, and sale of corporate bonds. Advantage is that it does not sacrifice any ownership to the obtaining the capital. Now we have sources of debt financing. There is international loan. So firm borrow loan from the bank in its home country or the foreign market. International, it is complicated by differences in the national banking regulation. It is inadequate banking infrastructure, shortage of loanable funds, and fluctuations of foreign currency. Next source is euro currency market, where the currency is banked outside of its country of origin. The role if declined in the favor of euro dollars are the US dollar that are banked outside the USA. It includes foreign branches of the US banks, and deposit tends to provide yield more domestic deposits. Next we have London Interbank Offered Rate, where LIBOR, LIBOR, where deposit rates that apply to the interbank loan within the London. Now we have offshoring financial center. So it provides large amount of funds and currencies than their own. It enables companies to take over the advantage of the favorable tax rate. The financial service operate in Hong Kong, Singapore, Switzerland, New York. The offshoring bank is the mode of OFS. The offshore OFC offer low to zero taxation or moderate. Benefits of OFC is that it could have tax benefit, include high level of confidentiality and internationally accepted debit card. Now we have investment decision. So construction of manufacturing facility in another country. So investment board is justifiable if there is positive NPV. It refers to the capital budgeting decision of the firm, where construction of capital budget is the process of projecting the net operating cash flow of the potential investment to determine if it is needed or good investment. While investing abroad, managers need to evaluate the cash flow from the local operation and cash flow from the parent company. So capital budgeting, it is the purpose of capital budgeting is to help the manager decide whether international project provide the best financial return or not. The management undertakes to evaluate the viability of the proposed international project. It calculates NPV of the project to decide whether it should be implemented or not. Now tax practices. We want to tax all the company within the territory or country want it. So tax practice and taxation system varies from country to country. There are two types of tax. Direct tax, it is calculated on the actual income. Either the individual or the firm impose the tax income like a profit, tax gain, intra-firm, royalties, interest, etc. Common form of direct tax is the corporate income tax. Next we have indirect tax, where there is sales tax, tariff, and value added tax, VAT. So it is applied to the purchase price and material cost, etc. The sales tax is the flat percent of tax on the value of goods and services paid by ultimate user. Now tax haven, countries with a low tax are friendly to the business and investment. For example, Panama, Switzerland, Monaco, Norway, Denmark are the countries of tax haven country. So they are among highest GNI, gross national income. Eliminating multiple taxes, the firm have to pay double tax or triple the taxes on the same product or transaction into a more country. So there are two methods how we can eliminate the multiple tax. There is tax treaties and foreign tax credit. So tax treaty, a country has sovereign right to leave tax on all the income generated. So MNC run into a problem where their income is taxed into foreign country as well as the parent country. It results double taxation. So to avoid double taxation, a country sign a tax treaties. It has two objectives, where preventing double taxation and providing remedies to double taxation. So tax treaties covers income tax, inheritance tax, and value added tax. EU agrees in multilateral agreement with respect to the VAT. So tax treaty tend to reduce the taxes of one treaty country. Now we have Nepal treaty tax, where Nepal signed DTAA, where double tax avoidance agreement with the Bangladesh on 2015. Nepal has now signed treaties with other 11 countries. Nepal has still prohibited Nepali investment in abroad. Now we have foreign tax credit, where automation reduction in the domestic character liability when firm can prove that it has already paid income tax abroad, and when these two countries have tax treaties. So Bangladesh has signed the DTAA as tax treaties, so it ensures MNC has paid tax in one country and stopped company from invading the tax. Next we have currency risk management. So manager try to protect the corporate assets from the exchange losses, that is loss due to the forex exchange and fluctuations. So currency exchange can influence the rupee equivalent of the foreign currency. To become a successful financial management, there is foreign exchange risk management and currency risk management. As a major financial risk in the international business arise from the exchange rate changes. So currency risk management in the global involves defining the exposure, setting up monitoring, adopting policy, and formulating strategy. So there are two types of strategy: operational strategy and financial strategy. Operational strategy involve balancing the exposed assets with the exposed liabilities, it using the lead and the lags in the cash flow, and balancing the revenue in one country with the expenses of the same country, so same currency. And next we have financial strategy, which includes using the forward contract, options, and other forex instrument to limit the exposure. Now, types of currency exposure risk: there is transaction exposure, where the firm faces exposure when our outstanding account receivable and payable are dominated in the foreign currency. Next we have economic exposure, where result from the exchange rate fluctuations affecting the pricing of the product and cost of the input. Next we have translation exposure, where the firms combines the financial statement of a country subsidiary into the parent's financial statement and the process of consolidation. Now, Lazard-Lagrange model, it suggests the firm can deal with the problem of exchange rate and control in the three ways: initiate rate, where spot exchange rate when budget is adopted; projected rate, spot exchange rate where forecast for the end of budget picture. Next we have ending rate, where spot exchange rate when budget and performance are compared. Now it suggests that the firm to use the projected spot rate to translate the budget and the performance figures into the corporate currency. Now we have international human resource management, considering the international labor and manager. When the firm go global and operate in the multiple country, organization function of HR gain the global dimension, so which should be handled through the management strategy. HRM is the strategic functions of global business management, where MNC whose HRM policy supports its strategy creates superior value in the global market. To develop the effective HRM policy or strategy, it is a big challenge for most of the multinational company. HRM refers to the management function through which the global manager acquire and develop and motivate and maintain effective team of human resource who come from different background. Staffing policy, it is concerned with selecting the employees who have the knowledge, ability, skills, and attitude required for performing particular job. So tools for developing and promoting MNC corporate image: people who have high skill knowledge required for performing particular jobs. It also wants to hire people whose behavior, style, belief, and value are consistent. Now, developing staffing policy, there is ethnocentrism staffing, where it fills the management position with the home country nationals when the staffing employees for MNC. It believes that not only the employees from the home country, but the principal and the management of the home country is implemented. Next, it is stressed in the hiring the home country employees, which is easier to adopt. Its drawback is that it results competencies as manager are the home nationals. It lacks local coordination of the host country. Next, we have polycentric staffing, where it directs the multinational company managers to staff the host country nationals to fill up the management position of its subsidiaries. It considers difference between the operations in the home country and the host country. It considers the host country's political, legal, and economic conditions. Its disadvantage is that it creates gap between the home and host operations, as it fails to create the company differences due to employee. Now we have regiocentric staffing, where it hires the nationals from the country of the home country region for filling up the management position in multinational company, particular regions that heavily shares the common cultural values and practices. It given priority to the people of the region where the home country staffing is preferred. Next, we have geocentric staffing, where it seeks the best people for the key job throughout the world regardless of their nationality. It seeks to hire from across the world on the basis of their attitude and skills. Benefit is beyond as it draws the people from any country if they meet the criteria. It offers a great learning opportunity that help to generate the idea and enhance competencies. The economic factor is that and decision making routine and legal problems they are complicated the in geocentric staffing policy. Now we have expatriation. So employees are placed for the foreign assessment, sending the managers. An employee for the foreign assessment is called expatriation. Repatriation means after completing a long term abroad, he or she is repatriated back to the home country. It is also known as repatriation. Now diversity management. International labor force has been diverse and getting more diverse. So laborers from the different socio-cultural, educational, political, rational backgrounds are joining MNC. So there are different diversity as enumerated as diversity in attitude towards woman, culture, race, language, education, etc. So further guidelines are provided for the effective managing diversity. Managing diversity such as equality and social justice, careful selection of the members, cultural harmonization, establish equal power and discovering positive feedback. Now we have labor relation. It is the relationship between the employees, employer and the government. Labor relation is influence production, efficiency, industrial peace and harmony and organization stability. International labor relation is the degree to which organized labor can limit the source of international business. It is the ability to integrate and consolidate the global operation limited by organization labor. Managing issues in the labor relation, unionization of the labor trade, unionism has become a strong global phenomenon. It is important in modeling the employees relation or industrial relation in the domestic and international organization. Trade organization is the legal authority to bargain and negotiate with the firm on the behalf of the employees of the various issues. Workers have the right to organize and bargain collectively. LR dimension. So employee relation is the relation between the employees and their employer. So industrial IR is the industrial relation between the employer and the labor in the industrial sector. The policy maker have increasingly understood that the sound labor relation is essential to the industrial development, filling the gaps of the poverty, illiteracy and unemployment. Inappropriate labor related decisions leading to poor and unfriendly labor relation. So key issues of the international labor relation is the degree to which organized labor can limit their choices of the international business. The international firm has the ability to integrate the global operations to realize the experience curve. Now we have co-determination. So industrial relation practice in which the trade union present in the corporate board and participate in decision making activities. Next is collective bargaining practice, where process is used to make the agreement between the management and the labor union. Collective bargaining in the US is highly regulated. US play an important role to bargain the role of establishment agreement. So labor union and management is the representative that meet and negotiate a contract. A contract governs collective working relationship until it expires. ILO role and influence, where international labor organization is the between government, workers and employers. ILO sides itself with the social justice, harmony and development. The global firm operates across the national boundaries, but the labor union do not. Due to this, balance of the power in MNC clearly rests with the management. Unions are pushing hard for the international labor standard. They prefer ILO labor standard. Now preparing employees for repatriation. So repatriation is the act of returning home from a foreign country assignment after completing it. So first there is preparation. As repatriation gives mixed feeling of employees concerned with the professional and personal changes. It involves experience of reverse cultural shock, as they spend several years in abroad with a foreign assignment, as adjustment back to life is stressful. So there is preparation. Then counseling, where HR manager provide counseling in different problems facing in return home, where the firm can provide counseling to address the psychological needs. Monitoring compensation, where the firm need to monitor his compensation and career path. Firm can adjust to equal to or better than before went to abroad. Companies can struggle to determine the proper job to which they can equalize for the same job. Interim financial support, so firm can give them bridge loan and interim financial assistance as well as counseling on the financial aspects to address their financial needs. So thank you, that's the end of the chapter. So make sure you like, comment and subscribe. You guys are amazing. Keep reading.